Plaintiff Yatia Caesar says the defendant is her mother, and she never provided a stable home for Yatia. Yatia claims she recently lived with her mother again, but she assaulted Yatia, and the police filed a restraining order against the defendant. She's suing her mother for unreturned property. Defendant Natanya Dutez says when Yatia was younger, she told her school that Natanya was abusive, so she lost custody of Yatia and the rest of her children. Natanya's countersuing for a rental car and unpaid loans.
All rise. This court is now in session. The Honorable Judge Greg Mathis presiding. You may now be seated.
Start with you.
Okay, well, my mother, Natanya, we haven't had a real good relationship.
Since when?
Well, since I was younger. I was always back and forth from New York to Florida or with other family members, so I never...
Why?
I'm not really sure that answer. I can never find it out myself, but it was never stable with her, so I was either with my grandmother or flying back and forth from New York to Florida. This recent March 14th, I had moved back home after graduating from 2015, and I moved back to New York.
Graduating from high school?
From high school, yes. I wanted to get back stable before I move out again, and that only lasted a week following an order of protection, and we're here now.
You had to file an order of protection. You all got into a fight?
She assaulted me, and after that assault happened, the police filed the order of protection.
Okay, let me hear from you.
Yes, Yatia and I have not seen eye to eye since she was 8 years old.
Yeah, she said because you weren't around.
No, I end up sending her to her father because from when she was 5 to 8, I just completely took him out of her life.
Why?
Because he's a drug dealer, and that's all he was doing.
Maybe I'm missing something. She says you weren't around.
The reason why that she went back and forth, it wasn't that I wasn't around.
Okay.
Her father would not leave New York at all. I had her at a very young age.
You were living in Florida?
I resided in Florida. She was born in Florida, but they wouldn't let her do kindergarten in Florida because of her age.
So that's why she went to New York.
Exactly. She was supposed to go to New York
For kindergarten.
And when he decided to take her, it turned into a big conflict of interest. I sent in for her ticket to come back for the summer, the week. He wouldn't do it. He was already in Florida.
Okay.
So when he did that chaotic behavior, I just eliminated her out of his life from when she was 5, and then when she turned...
She stayed with you after
Correct.
5 forever.
And exactly, and then when she turned 8 years old, a friend of mine told her father where I was. And when he came, he popped up for her 8th birthday party. Of course, he missed her because it was 3 years he hasn't seen her. He immediately was, oh, he wants Yatia, he wants her. I let her go. That January 12th, when Yatia came back to Florida, she went to the state of Florida, her school, and alleged that I was abusing her and everything else. So within that allegation, she was removed along with my other children.
Is that true?
Yes.
All right, well, I understand now. You gave me the impression that perhaps your mother was a woman who just didn't want her child. That's the impression I received, because that happens a lot, primarily with drug-addicted women or men. That is the crack or heroin. Those two things do make you abandon your children.
Correct.
And so,
Within that situation occurring, the state of Florida
Don't tell me you did start crack within that situation.
No,
I'm
no,
sticking
sir,
up for you, and you about to say, well, within that situation, there was a little crack involved.
No.
Okay.
I have 3 younger children.
No, I can tell your presentation. I'm just having fun with you, ma'am. I can tell by your presentation that what you're saying has a significant element of truth to it. Now, what about this fight she says you all got into recently?
Now, we moved to New York. She decided to leave to go back to Florida, where I told her, I said, it's not going to be a good move for you. Within that time, she went through a lot of trials and tribulations where I thought I was helping her deal with them, but there was still always this anger or animosity that she has with the way, I guess, I approach it, because I'm a very stern mom. I am. I'm going to give it.
Okay,
I'm not,
she doesn't want to tell me about the fight.
No,
so
I
let's
am.
what
End up
happened
going-
with a fight? How did the fight start? How did it end? What
I
happened?
end up going to get Yatia. Yatia didn't make the
You
decision.
went down to Florida
Yes,
to get her?
I paid to go
Okay,
get her.
now let's get to
when
a
I
fight.
brought her home, the day before the argument, we went to the party, whatever. Next morning, I leaned over and there was a lock on the door. When I knocked on the door, she just popped open the door. She's like, oh, I'm on the phone with my job.
That's not what
I said,
happened.
okay, the phone you're on is a cellular device with no wires, so you can come to me. If that's what I'm calling you for, you can come to me. So you're allegedly telling me if I call you,
Okay, she was being
you're gonna-
disrespectful in
Exactly.
your opinion, and then what happened?
And I lunged at her. When I lunged at her, that's when we got into, that's when she felt like she's gonna do the assault charge.
Okay, all right. And that's when
And
you
that's
got.
when we're going back and forth with.
Right now, it's still pending? All right, we won't go any further then if it's currently pending. Unreturned property, how does she owe you for that?
Well, that started with the assault because I'm not sure the story that she told, but that's
All right,
not
and we're not
what
going to go back
happened.
over it either. We're going to talk about your property,
Okay, so after the assault happened, I immediately called 911 because this is not the first time
And then
that
what
she
happened?
has assaulted me.
though. It's not?
So no.
How many
it's
other
not.
times?
There's multiple times. I can't count.
So many
can't
times you
count.
can't count.
Your Honor, I can
Hold
count
on.
for you.
How many? How many?
3 to 4.
Okay.
No.
That
Way
she's
more, a lot
allegedly,
more than
It's
that?
way more than that.
that she's
and that's-
allegedly calling it to be assault.
And that's
where,
why I have been living with family members because I was not
What
living
family
with
members
her at
is
all.
here?
Okay.
My grandmother and
Whatever.
my aunt.
All right, let's get to the property
So
then.
after she assaulted me, since I'm older now, I called 911.
Yeah.
So after I called 911 and she seen that I was doing that, she kicked me out. She told me I had to go. So it lasted a week. So once the police came and everything happened, they filed the reports. They told me, if I wanted her arrested, press charges, things like that. I told them I didn't want to press charges,
But she lied.
but you can arrest her because I did want her to get arrested for it.
While I was
so they
sick.
told
Be
me
quiet, ma'am.
she was not sick anymore, Your Honor, at all. She was
Let's get to
perfectly
the property,
fine.
ma'am.
So after that, they told me I had to rush and get, things that I needed
Mm-hmm.
until I can get a police escort to get the rest of my things. So I got, my, undergarments.
And what did
and
you
things.
leave behind, and how did she stop you from getting them?
I left behind most of my wardrobe.
have a
which
list?
is- Yes, I do.
And how did she stop you from getting them?
That's it. She stopped me from getting them because once I had the police escort, she wouldn't let me in the house at all.
How long ago was that?
That was in April.
Okay. When was the last time you requested your items?
In April.
Okay, ma'am?
Your Honor, the minute that Yatia called the police on me in whatever, I told her, yes, get out. Because the situation.
At that point, let's talk about the property.
Get out. Left, I came home, there was a suitcase in my living room and a couple of loose miscellaneous. I called her dad and let him know, listen, Yatia has some stuff here because I called the officers first to see what to do with the items. They told me, due to the fact she has injunction, I cannot touch her items or remove them out of the property. I said, okay. From April 1st until April 19th, April 20th, I kept texting, I kept calling.
Saying what?
Come and get your
Let me see
crap.
something. Let me see one of those texts. Who has that police report? Let's start there as well. And your defense, ma'am, was that you told her to come and get her things, and she hasn't.
Yes, sir.
Relieve my belongings, which were not there at all. April 8th, she called, pretending to be and speak to me about my clothing that was at her property. Okay, so the police report indicates that she called regarding you getting your property. And what do you have on your phone, ma'am?
Is that it right there?
Yeah, so from the top
Okay.
part
On the top?
is the conversation.
Hello, can you call me? Did not receive a call from yet. Did you get my keys? Who is this talking in the
I'm
yellow?
speaking to him because they had
To him as in,
her father.
can you let me know something? This is you. Then you
Yes.
want to talk to me with such aggression in your voice, but it was just seriously feels like nothing is being done here. I am totally helpless looking at that belongs to people that I don't with. It's every day in my face. Do you know when you're coming to get him? Ma'am, she was asking your father several times to come and get your stuff. Did you know that?
No, I did not.
Okay. Where are her items then? Have you seen them? That's what you have there in the bag?
Wow.
And your counterclaim for a rental car and unpaid loans. How does
Yes,
she
sir.
owe you for that?
When I went to Florida, my reasoning of going out there was because the twins are turning 13. I was going to have their birthday party. Like she stated, she went out there to get things together or whatever, but then she got into an altercation and said she didn't want to be there anymore. Once I got to Florida is when she made the initial decision she wanted to come back home with me.
No,
okay.
That's not correct.
Car and loans.
Either way, I ended up having to pay an extra week for that rental car. And
Because what did she do to cause that?
when she decided to say that she wanted to come back, the day of the
She
flight.
didn't keep the rental car, did she?
No.
You could have turned it in.
I did no.
Unpaid
the car,
loans for what?
The car rental went in, Your Honor.
Pardon
It
me?
did. The car rental went back because when we went to the.
Okay, so how does she owe you if
They
you
had
gave
to
it
give
back?
us another one because when we got there, we didn't get to check in on time. So then I ended up losing the flight.
Because what?
Because we didn't check in on time.
Okay, so you never got a refund for anything.
I didn't get a refund for the car
Okay.
from her because of the extended amount of days
All right,
that
so
I had
you
to
didn't-
stay.
All right, so
Yes.
because
Of the
you
missed
had
flight
to
that-
stay there
Yes.
longer.
Yes.
But you didn't have to stay. You
No,
could
we
have
didn't.
left.
I had a set date to
Right,
leave.
so you could have left. You didn't have to stay.
I didn't have to.
But you did on your own volition so that she doesn't know you. The loans are for what?
She indicated she wanted to, she needed help with her uniforms.
How much did you loan her?
It was scattered money.
All right, and when was she to
Scattered.
repay the scattered money?
She said once she started working.
Okay.
I gave her $204.
All right, you working yet?
I am working, but I do not know what she's talking about.
Okay, and you said scattered money. I don't know
Yes,
what that
sir.
means
When
either.
we first
I
came
wouldn't,
into
if I was her, I
Florida-
wouldn't know what you were
when-
talking about, scattered money. I'll dismiss your claim and give you your clothes there. You give her things back, and that's your judgment. It is clear that she was asking your dad because she couldn't talk to you based on a restraining order, so she was asking your dad to come get your things repeatedly, and you would not. Your claim is dismissed, and I'm going to dismiss yours as well. You all go home and get along. Have a good day.
Oh, I'm totally content because the way I wanted it to go is the way it went. I'm fine. Just as long as she stays where she's at, I'm totally content.
Kind of disgusted and embarrassed that she would lie, but hey, just gonna go on.